Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'm most happy to be in your nice association today, and especially my dear friend, Sarvabhauma Prabhu. It's been a while. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, entitled King Chitraketu Meets the Lord. Today's text 41. Vishama Mate Na Yatra Nirnam Tvam Aham Iti Mama Taviti Cha Yad Anyatra Vishama Diya Rachito Ya Sa Hi Avishuddha Shayisno Adharma Bahula. Vishamamatiya Yatra Nirnam Tvamham iti mama taveti yad anyatra. Vishamadiya rachitoya Sahya Vishuddha Shayisnu Adharma Bahula. Mataji's. word for word, Vishama, unequal. Your religion, my religion. Your belief, my belief. Mate, consciousness. Na, not. Yatra, in which. Nirna, of human society. Tvam, you. Aham, I. Iti, thus. Mama, my. Tava, your. Iti, thus. Cha, also. Yat, which. Anyatra, elsewhere. In religious systems. Other than. Bhagavat Dharma. Vishamadya. By this unequal intelligence, Rachita, made, Ya, that which, Saha, that system of religion, He, indeed, Avishuddha, not pure, Shayisnu, temporary, Adharma Bahula, full of irreligion. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Being full of contradictions, all forms of religion, but Bhagavat Dharma, work under conceptions of fruitive results and distinctions of you and I, and yours and mine. The followers of Srimad Bhagavatam have no such consciousness. They are all Krishna conscious, thinking that they are Krishna's and Krishna is theirs. There are other low-class religious systems which are contemplated for the killing of enemies or the gain of mystic power. But such religious systems, being full of passion and envy, are impure and temporary. Because they are full of envy, they are full of irreligion. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Bhagavat Dharma has no contradictions. Conceptions of your religion and my religion are completely absent from Bhagavat Dharma. Bhagavat Dharma means following the orders given by the Supreme Lord Bhagavan, as stated in Bhagavad-Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityagya Mamekam Saranam Vraja. God is one and God is for everyone. Therefore, everyone must surrender to God. That is the pure conception of religion. Whatever God orders constitutes a religion. Dharmam tu shakshat Bhagavat pranitam. In Bhagavad Dharma, there is no question of what you believe and what I believe. Everyone must believe in the Supreme Lord and carry out His orders. Anukulyana Krishna Anusilanam. Whatever Krishna says, whatever God says, should be directly carried out. That is Dharma, religion. If one is actually Krishna conscious, he cannot have any enemies, since his only engagement is to induce others to surrender to Krishna O God, how can he have enemies? If one advocates the Hindu religion, the Muslim religion, the Christian religion, this religion, or that religion, there will be conflicts. History shows that the followers of religious systems, without a clear conception of God, have fought with one another. There are many instances of this in human history, but systems of religion that do not concentrate upon service to the Supreme are temporary and cannot last for long because they are full of envy. There are many activities directed against such religious systems, and therefore one must give up the idea of my belief and your belief. Everyone should believe in God and surrender unto Him. That is Bhagavad Dharma. Bhagavad Dharma is not a concocted sectarian belief, for it entails research to find out how everything is connected with Krishna. Ishavashyam idam sarvam. According to the Vedic injunctions, sarvam kalvidam Brahma. Brahman, the Supreme, is present in everything. Bhagavad Dharma captures this presence of the Supreme. Bhagavad Dharma does not consider everything in the world to be false, because everything emanates from the Supreme. Nothing can be false. Everything has some use in the service of the Supreme. For example, we are now dictating into a microphone and recording on a dictating machine. And thus we are finding how the machine can be connected to the Supreme Brahman. Since we are using this machine in the service of the Lord, it is Brahman. This is the meaning of Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman because everything can be used for the service of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is mithya, false. Everything is factual. Bhagavad Dharma is called Sarvotkrishtha, the best of all religious systems, because those who follow Bhagavad Dharma are not envious of anyone. Pure Bhagavatas, pure devotees, invite everyone without envy to join the Krishna consciousness movement. A devotee is therefore exactly like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Suridam Sarvabhutanam. He is the friend of all living entities. Therefore, this is the best of all religious systems. Whereas so-called religions are meant for a particular type of person who believes in a particular way, such discrimination has no place in Krishna consciousness or Bhagavad Dharma. If we scrutinize the religious systems meant for worship of demigods or anyone else but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we will find that they are full of envy and therefore impure. Omajnana timirandasya ajnananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. And Srila Prabhupada used to say that if one is not peaceful internally, then there's no question of happiness both externally and internally. There's no question of happiness. So when one disciple asked, how do we achieve peace internally, then Srila Prabhupada also says in the last paragraph in the purport, Bhaktaram yagya tapasam sarve loke maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantam richati. That unless people begin to recognize that Krishna is the beneficiary of all one's activities, Bhaktaram yagya tapasam, and that will flow into the consciousness that Krishna is Sarve Loke Maheshwaram, that everything belongs to Krishna. And then one will feel some affection for Krishna, Suridam, Sarva Bhutanam. So when this affection for Krishna comes in, that Krishna is our best well-wisher and friend, Suridam Sarva Bhutanam, then only one will be fully satisfied. And when one is fully satisfied, in Gyatva Mam Shantam Richati, then one feels peaceful. And from the platform of peace, by Krishna's arrangement, by Krishna's will, and by Krishna's independent, you could say in one sense, not by our efforts that we can achieve such peace, by Krishna's independent decision, peace will enter the heart. And when one is internally peaceful, then there's nothing else. And from that platform of peace, internally, one receives by its own sweet will the platform of Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. It descends by its own sweet will. We cannot by our sadhana, no matter how much. Even one chants 192 rounds a day, or one serves the Vaishnavas, and we cannot by our own sadhana be achievers. We are actually simply opening our hearts to be receivers. And whether it comes or not, we still have our hearts open to receive the platform of Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. But what we should be doing is come to the peaceful condition internally. That's all. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of Alexander the Great. And he said that when Alexander the Great was coming into northern India to conquer, basically, a saintly person was sitting in a solitary place, and he didn't have any clothes on. Okay. So Alexander the Great, thinking that he is the Supreme Lord, like that, he asked the person, can I do something for you? Like that. So the person replied, the saintly person replied, you are standing in my way. Can you please step aside because you are making a shadow? That's all. So effectively the saintly person told Alexander the Great, look, I am absorbing the sun's rays, but not your effulgence, which is the darkness of ignorance. Like that. Because that saintly person was fully satisfied. And then Srila Prabhupada, after saying this about Alexander the Great, he quoted, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaja ayutiki apratihata ayatma suprasidati. That only by a devotional service which is without any motive, ayutiki apratihata, and without interruption. That means without any stoppage. It should be continuous. Then yayatma suprasidati. Then one becomes internally satisfied. And by that satisfaction, and naturally the principal result is peace. Gyatva mam shantam richati. Now, Srila Prabhupada is wonderfully saying in the purport, about the world situation. How people, they misuse religious systems and fight so-called holy wars. What's happening in the world. Like that. Yeah. So this purport very clearly, gives it right to the core that there's a fundamental problem like that, or being Hindu, Christian, Muslim or Jew, or atheistic for that matter. This is the problem. So we do not need to discuss that so much. We know what the world situation is, from Kashmir to Iraq to Iran to United States, wherever. So now, Srila Prabhupada is saying that when people recognize Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and accept Him as such, then this problem would not be there. This problem would not be there. So now, what do we do to actually help people to overcome that problem and fight amongst themselves? And they are not peaceful before the problem, they are not peaceful with the problem, and they won't be peaceful after the problem. Definitely they will not be. So what do we do? What do we do? We actually didn't know who's Krishna. We have to admit this. And even I am coming from an Indian background and Indian culture. I also thought I knew Krishna. Yeah. But actually I just took Krishna as my next door neighbor. Over familiar. Like that. So it's a fact that we only came to know Krishna in his pristine position and in his true glory because of Srila Prabhupada. That we should admit. Whether we had some eligibility before that, or that all falls off. In fact, we may have had some minus 20, minus 19, minus 18, minus 17. We had some very negative, eligibilities. We had to come to the point of 0 and then add 1, 2, 3, 4 to understand, Krishna consciousness and devotional service, and apply it by practicing it. Yes. So therefore it is very clear that Srila Prabhupada is the personality. But the mundane religionists, they also don't know who is God. Just like we didn't know who is Krishna. Although we may be familiar, prior to coming to Krishna consciousness. Yeah. But the mundane religionists, they know Muhammad only. They know Jesus Christ or Moses. Okay. They know, for that matter, in India, say Sankaracharya. Like that. See? And in that sense, through them, they are doing what they're doing. Or maybe a misinterpretation of what they said, according to the Bible, Quran, or Torah, or even Bhagavad-Gita. Prabhupada is explaining like that. It's complete mundane dharma. Therefore, sarvadhaman parichakya. Give up all these mundane religiosities. Like that. And even for ourselves, we didn't even know. We may have been following Moses and Jesus Christ and Muhammad and even Sankaracharya. We may be following these personalities ourselves until we came to Srila Prabhupada. Until Prabhupada saved us. Like that. So our duty and our dharma is to give to the world that this personality is Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada is greater than Moses, is greater than Jesus Christ, is greater than Muhammad, is greater than Sankaracharya. Until and unless they accept Srila Prabhupada, then they will accept Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Yes. And then all this, what Prabhupada says in the purport, will come right, will be adjusted nicely, and there will no be so-called holy wars and envy and hatred amongst so-called mundane, man-made religious systems. Okay. Yeah. That's our duty. It's our prime duty. Okay. Because people don't accept God. People accept a messenger of God to go to God, and that's everyone does that. Like that. One person was telling me that, many people in the US at one time accepted Michael Jackson as God. Oh yeah, that's true. Or nowadays in India they may accept Amitabh Bachchan as God. Yeah. So people, either they'll accept God through a messenger of God, through a prophet of God, or through a representative of God, or either they will accept somebody to take the place of God. Like that. So therefore, in that same type of acceptance of category of people in general, we also did the same. First we accepted Srila Prabhupada, and then we accepted Srila Prabhupada's teachings. That. So using the same methodology of people's consciousness, we should dovetail them not to be cheated by the cheaters, and bring them to accept Srila Prabhupada as greater than any other personality that appeared in this planet in the modern times. So one time, Srila Prabhupada was with some newspaper reporters. And obviously, these newspaper reporters or those who come and interview Srila Prabhupada, they do their homework quite thoroughly. And they have like a barrage of questions. They'll ask a simple question first, then I'll ask another question, then I'll ask a controversial question, just to get good news for the newspapers. Like that, yeah. So Srila Prabhupada was sitting with his disciples, like that. And the newspaper reporter, of a leading newspaper in the United States. So he said, and he called Srila Prabhupada, he called him Prabhupada. He knew the language of how to relate and everything. Did his homework well. He said, Prabhupada, it appears that what you have done is humanly impossible. So then Srila Prabhupada asked him, what is it? He said, no author can write 60 or 70 books at that time in one lifetime. And not only that, it's not just like regular books. This is like, Sanskrit, Roman transliteration, word for word, English translation of the Sanskrit and purports, and he said, given all the other things, but your purports alone, nobody can write like this, nobody can do this, like this. It's actually impossible for a regular person to do what you did. So he started like that. He was actually glorifying Srila Prabhupada. That's how they do it. They glorify you, enter into some trap. Prabhupada knew. Yeah. So how is this possible that you did this? How is this possible? And I have already researched that you have done it. It's not that you had somebody else to write it and so forth, because all your dictaphone tapes are there, You have actually did this. They must have, transcribed and edited, but you have actually done this. Yes. How is it possible? Like that. Then Srila Prabhupada, he was a little silent for some moments, and one disciple thought, he should speak because Prabhupada may not be one to glorify himself. So one leading disciple said to the newspaper reporter, my spiritual master, he is personally inspired by God. Now that's controversial. Like that. In the Christian world, there's only one person who's inspired by God, and that is Moses. Like that. So immediately in the newspaper reporter's consciousness, oh, you mean is he like Moses? Now, this is big news. In the world, is he like Moses? Like that. Yeah. So the newspaper reporter is waiting for Srila Prabhupada to acknowledge what the disciple said. This is the big statement by the disciple to glorify. So he's asking Srila Prabhupada, he said, is it true that what your disciple is saying, that you are personally inspired by God? Yeah. Then Srila Prabhupada said, no. Like that. Okay. He's disagreeing with his disciples. Okay, then what is it? Srila Prabhupada said, God is dictating and I am writing, no inspiration. So that means he is greater than Moses. The newspaper reporter didn't ask any more questions. So this is Srila Prabhupada. That when we offer the world this personality, Srila Prabhupada, and what he has given us, then when they accept that he is greater than everyone else who appeared even thousands of years ago, then the world will change. Then the world will change in that way. You have any comments or questions you'd like to ask?
Bhagavad-Gita, Lord says that 17th chapter that those who are
can't hear you. I can't hear you. Where's the sound man? You're the sound man. Can you fix the sound first? You said something about demigods, but I just couldn't figure out what you're saying.
I was saying that normally we hear that those who are worshipping demigods are passionate and evil. And Bhagavad-Gita Krishna speaks that they are those who are worshippers of demigods, then what of goodness. And normally I understand that those who are goodness, they worship Lord Vishnu. How can we make this right?
Let Sarvabhauma answer your question. So, give him the microphone. He doesn't need microphone actually. It's okay, go ahead. Sarvabhauma Prabhu, I am instructing you to answer.
Not dictating. Inspiring.
Yes, go ahead.
So what you are saying is demigod worship, so it is not mode of goodness.
Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, so normally we say that
Yeah, demigod worship is the mode of goodness, and worshiping of the Pitra is the mode of passion, and worshiping the Bhood is the mode of ignorance. That's right. So,
normally we hear that those who are worshipping Lord Vishnu, they are influenced by goodness and things like that.
well, they start at the level of goodness, but they have to go to the Shuddha Sattva to really reach to the level which is the goal. The Shuddha Sattva of Vasudeva, the Shuddha Sattva, that is actually the ultimate object that we have to achieve. We have to transcend. But what we are practicing is bhakti. And the bhakti is the process by which we have to transcend three modes of material nature. As long as we are mode of goodness, it is still in a material nature. So that worship is still at a level of under the three modes of material nature. But the bhakti is the only process by which we can transcend three modes of material nature. That is our goal.
Perfect. You satisfied? Next question.
I don't know. Maharaj, some years ago, precisely last year, you said that this first question is the clarification.
I said?
Yeah, last year.
Last year. I can't. I don't know if I can remember what I said.
Maharaj, just the clarification. You said that Dharma Devi is the minister of the saints.
Huh?
He said Dharma Devi.
Oh yes, okay. Yeah.
Minister of the saints. So that is the clarification. So the question I really want to ask today's class is that is it the world religion that has the problem or the follower of the religion?
Okay. One time, Srila Prabhupada in a purport said that we should not criticize other religions, although they may maybe in the mode of passion or ignorance, like that. But what we should be doing, because Prabhupada also says in this purport that the devotee is a friend of every living entity. He does not become his enemy's enemy, like that. Yeah. So what Srila Prabhupada says in that purport, I'm paraphrasing that we should respect all religions, but at the same time, we should encourage people who are following the Quran or the Bible or the Torah or the Bhagavad-Gita to follow their scripture more. To follow the scriptures more seriously, like that. Irrespective whether there's like an interpretation or changing or what, to follow the scripture more. So, one disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, in connection with this, like that. And Srila Prabhupada said that in the world, when the world accepts Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like that, yeah. But I am saying when the world accepts Prabhupada first, and then they will accept Krishna as the Supreme Person. Prabhupada will not say that, let them accept me first and my teachings. We have to say that, see? So when the world accepts Prabhupada and the teachings of what Prabhupada has given us, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then what will happen is that because we have pure Brahmanas, in our movement, like that. We have all sorts of Brahmanas in our movement, but those who are pure, like that. Now, because second initiation can also be given to Vaishyas and Kshatriyas and Brahmanas. But I'm talking about Brahmanas who are not in the category of second initiated, because if you have a Vaishya tendency and a Kshatriya tendency, you also can get second initiated. But Brahmanas in the sense is beyond being second initiated. So what happens is that when the world accepts Prabhupada and Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then everyone in the world will accept the pure Brahmanas within ISKCON as the topmost to give spiritual guidance. Everyone, whether you're Hindu, Christian, Muslim or Jew, an atheist, like that. So one time I was walking in the main street in Nairobi city. I was walking like that. And there was a huge Christian conference in the city over that weekend, like that. Some cardinals were there, some huge ministers, bishops and so forth came, for the Africa region. I was just walking on the street, like that. So one of these cardinals, or maybe a bishop or something from the Roman Catholic feature, he was white-bodied, So I was on the street and he stopped me. He stopped me. He said, who are you? He was very gentle, very polite. The expert. Yeah. Very gentle. He said, who are you? I said, no, I am a monk. He said, oh, monk. Okay. What do you do? So I was explaining everything. Like that. But I know that if I speak for 20 minutes with him, he's going to speak for 40 minutes with me. That's how they do it. Okay. So they allow you to speak like that. Then I said, before he could speak, I said, I have some questions for you. He said, oh, you have questions? That's good. He thought, I'm going to inquire from him now. Like that. So I said, if you go into like a place, say like a place like Kentucky or McDonald's or something. You know this thing? Yeah. If you, as a high priest in your tradition of Roman Catholicism, if you go to a place like that and you come out with a hamburger, like that. He said, yes, we eat, there's no problem, like that. I said, yeah, but will anybody tell you anything? Why you went to that place and why you bought that and why you eating it? He said, is something wrong? I said, no, I'm just asking you a question. For him, it's normal. Like that. Then I said, if you see a Maulana or a Mufti of the Muslim tradition, the high priest, and they go into such a place also, and in the window it says, everything strictly halal, and he buys something from these places, that's beef or, non-veg things, and he comes out and he eats, I said, will anybody say anything? He said, no, what's your point? He's asking me. What's your point? Like that, yeah. Then I said, if I go in that place, like that, and I buy something from them, and I come out and I eat, even the people on the street will tell me, hey, you're supposed to be a Hare Krishna. You're not supposed to eat that. You're supposed to be strictly vegetarian. Like that. See? So he said, yes, that is true. I was just inquiring from you because I already know about you. Like that. I said, yes. You leave the scripture one side, leave the Bible, leave the Torah, leave the Quran, and leave the Bhagavad-Gita aside. Like that. Let's talk about how you live your life and how I live my life. Then we can understand what is spirituality and not religion. Like that. Then we can understand what is spirituality and not religion. He humbly accepted. He's probably a bishop or a cardinal from the Roman. He humbly accepted. I said, that is the difference between all of you and us. Between all of you and us. So when the world comes to accept real Brahmanas, genuine Brahmanas, who are above them in their practices spiritually, and also not attached to materialistic things, then the world will change. Not that we are better than them, but they should understand who is actually living the scriptures, who is actually living the scriptures. From any point of view, from the point of the Quran or the Bible or the Torah or the Bhagavad-Gita. Doesn't matter. From any point of view, who is actually living the scriptures, then the world will change. Is that all right? He wants to ask one more question, he says. I can't hear you. Then we'll stop after this.
I asked it before, but you don't touch it. That is the question. One time you say, you're like this also, that Durga Devi is the minister of defense.
See, Durga Devi is the minister of defense. Lakshmi is the minister of is minister of finance. You got it? Saraswati is the minister of education within the administration of the material universe. And Radharani is the prime minister. You got it? Yeah. Now these are all they are not demigoddesses and they are not ladies or Vaishnavis. They are not. They're something else. You cannot say Durga is male or female. You cannot say that. That's our mundane conception. You cannot say Radharani is male. That's our mundane conception. It's beyond that. See? It's beyond that. I said that in that category because some people feel that in our Krishna consciousness movement, women have a second place. From the mundane point of view, they feel women have a second place. But from the administrative point of view of each universe, so-called inverted commas women have first place. In any government, the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Finance, and the Minister of Education are the most important. Sometimes even more important than the Prime Minister. Right, see? Like that. So all of them, the positions of these things are adorned and taken up by, you could say demigoddesses, but not Radharani. She's not a demigoddess. So in that way, women don't have second place in our movement. They administrate the entire universe in these different categories and features of responsibility. In that sense, I was discussing previously. That was last year in Radhastami Laksha, I remember, when I was here for Radhastami. Yes. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Kodi Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.